So I just got back to my office. Tonight was the State of the Union address. This is the fifth State of the Union address by President Obama. I've sat through and listened to every single one of them, and there's a similarity in tone and also in rhetoric that we hear from the President, basically making promises to the American public, and now I guess it's really up to the American public to see whether they believe it or not. Recent polls actually show that I think almost 2/3 of Americans right now do not have confidence in this president. And I think the polls also say almost a half of all Americans do not trust this president, which is really a sad state of the affair. So with regard to the speech tonight, the president laid out a number of promises and a number of areas that he wants to work on. I think the American public has to ask themselves, why has he not done these things in the past? I'll just give you a quick example. The president said that if Congress does not act, he will, that he will use his executive powers and the pen of his office to try to do things to cut red tape, expedite matters, to expedite permits and the like. Again, the American public has to ask themselves two questions. First, if the president legitimately has these powers, then where has he been over the last 5 years in using them? Why has he not tried to streamline processes, make government work better, and create jobs? On the other hand, if the president does not really have these powers, if he does not have the legal or the constitutional authority to do these things, then it is the role of the Congress, the U.S. Senate and the House, to stand up and point out that the Constitution limits the power of the executive, and these are legislative functions. So it was an interesting speech that we heard from the president tonight, and we'll look to see whether there's any truth and action beside some of these promises that the president has made.